a while, and he's one of my favourite acts that I've seen at 59 over the last 4 years, and that's pretty crazy because there's been a lot of people. So what I want you to do, please, is put your hands together and make some fucking noise.
Yeah.
Come on! Make more noise than that. Give it up for all the drink drivers in the world of Mr. Sam Kirkpatrick. Blue lights, blue lights.
All right, let's get this kicking. Are you guys ready to pack this place to the lafters? That was a combination of the phrase "pack this place to the rafters," which means really full, and the word "lafters," which is what I'm hoping to hear from you guys. That intro joke was just me explaining a really bad pun. It gets a lot better from here, trust me. So I'm really into breakfast. Like, I get really into my whole act on breakfast, and often I look forward to my breakfast a lot. And what I like to cook for myself is a single sunny side up egg. And I take it very seriously, and I look forward to dipping toast with butter into the uncooked yolk. That's not the punchline, but it's good, right? But then every once in a while disaster strikes, and when I crack my egg into the pan, the yolk breaks, and I'm just left there in desperation, watching it cook, knowing that there's nothing I can do, wishing that I had decided to make something else for breakfast, because now I have no uncooked yolk to dip my toast in, and it leaves me depressed for the rest of the day. And I imagine that that's much the same reaction people have to an unwanted pregnancy, except for one small difference, because that yolk didn't break, and that yolk will continue to grow. I also, I make my own coffee in the morning, and people these days tend to seem like that's an accomplishment worthy of noting. So if I say, I make my own coffee in the morning, they're like, really? I thought the Renaissance men died out with Leonardo. But apparently Sam wakes up early enough to make himself a cup of coffee. That's amazing. I just couldn't be fucked. I just decided to wait in line for 10 minutes and buy a glass. Which is kind of ridiculous, because if you think about it, it doesn't take that long. And 2 generations ago, people literally had to slaughter an animal for breakfast. And now all of a sudden it's an accomplishment for me to grind up some dry beans that I bought at the market and pour boiling water on them. So I moved to Australia about 3 years ago, and I'm still getting used to some of the phrases that you use here. And one of those phrases is, "it looks like a dog's breakfast," which people say to say that something looks unattractive, unappealing, or gross. And I don't know if dog food should be the gold standard of what unappealing is. I'm just saying, if you're like 3 or 4 pints deep and you're a little hungry, and the barman puts a bowl of dry dog food on the table, like, you're gonna try it, right? Like, it doesn't look that bad. Or if you were to put that into a plastic bag and label it organic trail nibbles, and put it into, an organic shop, people would buy it, and they would eat it, and no one would complain. And the second reason that phrase really, really bothers me is that in the States, we fed our dogs dog food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but the phrase here is "it looks like a dog's breakfast," not "it looks like dog's food." So then I'm left wondering, what the fuck do you guys feed your dogs for lunch and dinner? Is it like a gourmet affair on lunch? Like, breakfast is just fucking slop, but come lunchtime, it's doggy degustation. Like, we're walking our dog down to a 3-hatted restaurant. Well, hello, Mr. Barkelswolf. Thanks for joining us. I'll walk you over to your table. Now sit, stay. You have 4 choices for water tonight: still, sparkling, tap, or toilet. Let us know your preference and we'll get right on that. We noticed you listed down no chocolate under the dietary restrictions. Thank you for letting us know. We'll get you right started with the 5-course menu. The first thing on the course is a deconstructed dog bone made with organic toasted farro on top of minced goose liver and with a side of salmon foam. I also get pissed off about people that comment on the weather for a small talk. Just because it's so fucking, like, yeah, it's fucking cold. Everyone knows it's cold. It's like, if that is passable for conversation, can't we comment on everything else that's obvious? Like, oh, this wall sure is off-white. Let's fucking talk about that for a while. This brick's exposed. Or this microphone is taking the impulses of my voice and moving it through an electromagnet, creating electric impulses that travel through this coaxial cable back to an amplifier, which is probably decoded in solid state of this day because they don't use tube amplifiers anymore. And then it's going through a digital to analog converter. Sorry, analog to digital converter. Fuck me, a lot of people from work are here, I can't fuck this up. And then the signal goes to the output stage, at which point it's amplified to the force that it can take that's required to move these cones so that you guys can hear my voice louder than it actually is. But, you know, that's just fucking obvious. I'd explain how your ears work, but I didn't study biology, just electrical engineering. We're talking about the weather. And I was dead set when I was practicing this routine. Like, I just added that part about the amplifier in. I was like, you're gonna fucking forget to finish that joke. But I'm not. So anyway, the weather is getting more and more extreme these days that I feel like in a few decades, we're not gonna talk about the weather. We're gonna talk about the latest natural disaster. Like, it's not gonna be, oh, it sure is raining a lot here. It's gonna be like, hey, how about that hurricane last night? That was nothing compared to the earthquake last week, but, you know, how's your family? Well, Susan drowned in the hurricane. Really? I could have sworn Susan burned alive in that bushfire. No, that was Sally. Oh, right. Sorry, and that's small talk about the weather in a few decades, the way things are going. I guess we'll keep it going a little bit onto like us shitting up the planet. Like, we produce so much garbage that it's just ridiculous. Like, we just throw shit out. We're just like, oh, it's just one piece of garbage in a big ocean. And now there's a fucking island of garbage in the Pacific. It's an island. It's the size of Texas. And for you guys, I think that's roughly South Australia, but I don't know. Just metric, imperial, I don't know. It's big. It's bigger than states and countries. That's pretty big. And then if you think about like the one place that it would be hard to really screw up, and you think about like the biggest thing known to man, and you think of just space, infinite void, the black abyss extending through all reaches of the galaxy and the universe, and it's so majestic. NASA needs to use a supercomputer, several supercomputers, to track all the pieces of garbage we have in orbit around the planet. It's broken down satellites, it's pieces that have come off rockets that detach out there. There's probably defunct space stations we don't even know about. But they have to, we're shitting up space. Like, it's the infinite void. And then people sit there and they wonder, oh, you know, I wonder why we haven't run into other intelligent life out there. But like, let's just put yourself in the position of the intelligent life, right? Like, if you move into a new neighborhood and there's that one neighbor that like, the house is a little bit decrepit and there's fucking car parts on the front yard and they haven't mowed it in a while and there's a broken down car there and they're always fucking arguing. Your made up belief structure's bullshit. No, your made up belief structure's bullshit. I'll fucking kill you. You're probably not going to introduce yourself. Like, until we clean up our fucking act, we're not going to run into anybody else in here. And that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, please, Mr. Sam Kirkpatrick. I'm going to step into this blue light so I can do my impersonation of Mel Gibson from Great